Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about rating agencies. First of all, I will start to talk about what are rating agencies. Well, rating agencies provide investors with information about whether bond and debt instruments issuers can meet their obligations. Agencies also provide information about countries' sovereign debt. The global credit agency rating industry is highly concentrated with three agencies: Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch. Credit ratings, debt ratings, or bond ratings are issued to individual companies and to specific classes of individual securities, such as preferred stock, corporate bonds, and various classes of government bonds. Ratings can be assigned separately to both short-term and long-term obligations. Long-term ratings analyze and assess a company's ability to meet its responsibilities with respect to all of its securities issued. Short-term ratings focus on the specific security's ability to perform given the company's current financial condition and general industry performance conditions. When they issue letter grades, credit rating agencies provide objective analysis and independent assessments of companies and countries that are issue such securities. So now we're going to talk about how did they come about. Credit agencies originate in the United States in the early 1900s when ratings began to be applied to securities, specifically those related to railroad bond market. In the United States, the construction of extensive railroad systems had led to the development of corporate bonds issued to finance them, and therefore a bond market several times larger than in other countries. Following the 1907 financial crisis, demand rose for such independent market information, in particular for independent analysis of bond creditworthiness. In 1909, financial analyst John Moody issued a publication focused solely on railroad bonds. His rating became the first to be published widely in an accessible format. In 1913, the ratings publication by Moody's underwent two significant changes, explained its focus to include industrial firms and utilities, and it began to use a letter rating system. For the first time, public securities were rated using a system borrowed from the mercantile credit rating agencies, using letters to indicate their creditworthiness. In the next few years, the big three credit rating agencies were established. Poor's published company began issuing rating in 1916, Standard Statistics Company in 1922, and Fitch published company in 1924. The flow of money from issuers to raters leads to a conflict of interest between the producers of ratings, such as the agencies, and the user of ratings, such as investors. In this context, any commercial relationship between raters and clients is potentially important. Now I'm going to hand this over to Margarita to talk about the controversy.
Sure. So just as a recap, rating agencies are meant to provide investors with reliable information on the riskiness of the types of debts they'll be getting themselves into. So essentially, they're giving comfort about an issuer's ability to repay the debt. The possible conflict of interest between them and the issuers of securities due to the flow of money, meaning issuers of security pay the rating agencies for providing rating services, and therefore the agencies may be reluctant to give them low ratings to securities issued by people who pay their salaries. And specifically after the financial crisis in 2008, these credit agencies drew criticism for giving high credit ratings to debts that later, in fact, turned out to be a high risk investment. Furthermore, critics argue that these agencies fail to take into account potential for a decline in the housing prices and its effect on the loan defaults. The agency's inflated ratings also failed to account for the greater systematic risks associated with the structured products, and they were accused of sacrificing quality ratings to win a bigger share of the lucrative sector. Although this was like the most recent part, the controversy has followed the rating agencies since major financial crisis, which include the New York City in the mid 70s and the Asian financial crisis of 1997 and 1998, and the Enron scandal of 2001. So along with these rating agencies have also been accused of flawed methodologies, political bias, and rating shopping. And now the next slide, credit rating agencies' roles.
Hi, yes. So for the roles of for create credit rating agencies, basically rating agencies, they assess the credit risk for specific debt securities, mostly bonds. The rating agencies provide an independent evaluation of the credit worthiness of debt securities issued by both governments and corporations. And in the United States, the agencies are held responsible for losses resulting from inaccurate or false ratings. The rating system is graded on a scale from AAA to D, AAA being the best and D being the worst. And the ratings can be issued for short-term and long-term securities and obligations. So for long-term ratings, they basically analyze and assess a company's ability to meet its responsibilities. And for short-term ratings, it mainly focuses on the specific security's ability to perform given the company's financial health. And for the three major rating agencies today, they are Moody's, Standard and Poor, also known as S&P, and Fitch Ratings. Moody's was founded in 1909 by John Moody. In 1975, Moody's was regarded as a nationally recognized statistical organization by the SEC. And Moody's basically provides financial research on bonds issued by commercial and government entities. Standard and Poor was created from a merge between Poor's Publishing and Standard Statistics Bureau. S&P issued credit ratings ranging from A to triple D, and Standard & Poor's is most famous for its S&P 500 index, which was first launched in 1957. And it was also recognized as a nationally recognized statistical organization in 2007. The last of the three major rating agencies is Fitch Ratings, which is founded by John Knowles Fitch in 1914. Fitch is unique in that it not only is headquartered in the United States, but also London. As compared to the other two, they're only stationed in the United States, but Fitch is also international. In the 1920s, Fitch created the AAA to D rating system, which is now used by most all credit rating systems in history. Fitch Ratings was also recognized as a nationally recognized statistical organization in 1975.
So how does regulation help? So as we know, the three major CRAs played a huge part in the subprime mortgage crisis in the 2008. In the mid 2000s, the CRAs had provided an excellent rating to the mortgage-backed securities, which turned out to be worthless. They later backtracked and gave those same securities junk ratings. So basically, an appropriate regulation is required to encourage high quality credit ratings and increase CRA accountability. That's why they created the Office of Credit Ratings as part of the Dodd-Frank Act of 2010 to safeguard investors, promote capital formation, and keep markets fair, orderly, and efficient. The office is in charge of administrating the rules of the SEC in determining credit ratings for the protection of the users and in the public interest, promote accuracy in credit ratings issued by the CRAs, and working to ensure that credit ratings are not unduly influenced by conflicts of interest, and the CRAs provide a greater transparency and disclosure to investors. So basically, they hold CRAs accountable for faulty ratings, make sure they are transparent with their methodologies to their ratings, and provide an oversight of internal controls. This is to prevent, like I said, another financial crisis like the 2008. So how does regulation hinder? In 1979, the SEC issued new rules that solidified the centrality of the rating agencies. They designated the big three CRAs, Moody's, S&P, and Fitch, as nationally recognized statistical organization, or NRSROs in short, and endorsed the ratings of these ratings for the determination of the broker-dealers' capital requirements. And other financial regulators soon followed suit and deemed these SEC-identified NRSROs as the relevant source of ratings required for evaluation of the bond portfolios of their regulated financial institutions. So over the next 25 years, the SEC designated only 4 additional firms as NRSROs, but due to mergers, we ended up with the original 3 by the end of the year 2000. NRSRO's designation had become a significant barrier to entry into the bond rating business. With this, there is an obvious oligopoly of rating agencies in the US. So what are the suggestions for improvement? Competition among rating agencies is a good thing, leading to innovation and higher quality research. That is why eliminating an SRO title or loosening the requirements to become a rating agency would be the best course of action for the future of CRAs. And that is all. Thank you.